You will not be able to tell. And if the trans man has not undergone, that is to say phalloplasty, that is to say if an artificial penis has not been created, the trans man in all probability will still retain the vagina. So therefore, and I think it's very, very important. I know that none of you watch porn because you're all good sanskari people. But I would definitely recommend, I don't think this is a sentence that you're ever going to hear at a seminar again. I recommend you watch porn. That sentence I don't think will ever be heard again in a seminar. No, I recommend that you watch porn, but if you try watching porn in which roles are played by trans women or by trans men, that is going to be a revelation. Because you see, a trans man can look like Sudipto, like me, and then they take off their underwear, it's a vagina. And you'd be like, oh, yeah. But you see, you can't, but you see, all this time you thought, আমি তো একে ছেলে ভেবেছিলাম. You see the problem with the sentence, আমি একে ছেলে ভেবেছিলাম. You're saying আমি একে ছেলে ভেবেছিলাম, but what you're actually saying is, আমি তো ভেবেছিলাম এর penis থাকবে. তুমি ওকে ছেলে ভাবোনি. So there is a slight difference between আমি ওকে ছেলে ভেবেছিলাম আর আমি এক্সপেক্ট করেছিলাম ওর একটা পিনিস থাকবে. ছেলে and penis are not the same thing. বোঝা গেল? পরিষ্কার একটা ডিফারেন্স এখানে হয়ে যাচ্ছে. এই প্রশ্নটার আরেকটা ভেরিয়েশন হচ্ছে যে যখন গে ম্যারেজ, স্যার যখন বা গে রিলেশনশিপ, স্যার দুটো ছেলে রিলেশনশিপের মধ্যে আছে, বলছে একজন হাজব্যান্ড একজন ওয়াইফ, তাহলে কি স্যার আবার সে হেটেরোসেক্সুয়াল ম্যারেজের মধ্যে চলে যাচ্ছে? নট এট অল, বিকজ when there are two men in a relationship and even when one man is saying that I am a wife, you see that wife is becoming a floating signifier. That word wife is being delinked from the female body. এইরকম যদি ডিলিঙ্কেজ হতে থাকে তাহলে মিনিংটা ক্রমশ আনস্টেবল হয়ে যাবে. যেই মিনিং আনস্টেবল হতে থাকবে, পেট্রিয়ার্কির তখন মাথার ঘুম চলে যাবে. কেন পেট্রিয়ার্কি চাই ভাই ওয়াইফ তো ভাই ভ্যাজাইনা থাকবে, তুই নিজেকে ওয়াইফ বলছিস, তোর পিনিস আছে, তারপর তো আমি বলতেই পারি. So that is the way in which subversion works, is that you take a word, you totally re-signify it. And the clearest example of that word is the word queer, because queer used to mean strange, odd, bizarre, freaky. Not at all. Now queer has become a term which is used politically to designate any action that is anti-normative. Any action that is anti-normative is therefore queer. ফলে যেটা একসময় গালাগাল হিসেবে ব্যবহার করা হতো, it has now been repurposed and it is being used in the sense of political agency. So that's why. But I mean, thank you for your question. Any other questions?
Just in line with what you said about the homosexual relationship,
Yeah.
and how that, if you could talk about how that inflects this whole debate over marital rape, because we're talking about marital rape.
Absolutely.
Always assuming a heterosexual relationship.
Yes.
What happens to the homosexual relationship?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why there's so much debate about same-sex marriage and legalizing.
Yeah, I think Madhusanda, well, first of all, I wish you hadn't asked me that question, because then that is going to set me back by a few hours. But no, really important question, because Madhusanda, I don't think that we're still not talking enough about domestic violence in same-sex relationships. That is something which we are still not talking about. There are some lesbian organizations that are beginning to talk about it a little bit. Just because there are two women in a relationship, please don't assume that everybody is going to present roses to each other every morning. That's not the way it works. So therefore, slight acknowledgement now about domestic violence that is happening in same-sex relationships, not enough. But Madhusanda, this is my fear, is that if tomorrow, gay marriage becomes legalized in India, I hope not, but even if you don't know, because I hate marriage in any case. I didn't know that. I'm completely anti-marriage, Yeah. We can talk about it if you want. Yeah, I'm totally against marriage. But, as I'm now fond of saying, marriage is the solution to all the problems that you don't have. So, so, so what my fear is that heterosexual relationship এই যদি marital rape টা যদি criminalize না হয়, the same thing is going to become applicable. So there is going to be, interspousal violence within a gay marriage, and there'll be no, redressal.
And that's where
I'm horrified by that.
that's where I think the labels are important. Whether we should use the word spouse, partner, or whether we should use the word husband and wife.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always advocating gender neutral terms, so I'm always advocating partner and spouse. But then again, since I'm opposed to marriage, I believe that the best kind of relationship that we should have right now, and the best kind of family that we have right now, is a family that consists of friends. So therefore now some crazy feminists like me, we have now started to think that the way in which we understand family, this time is over. We have to stop thinking in terms of a biological family, and we should think more about the chosen family. So therefore, if 4 friends decide to live together, that sort of unit should have the legal validity of a family, irrespective of whether they're having sex with each other or not. So therefore, let us stop defining marriage, or let us stop defining a family as a unit in which at the center are 2 people having sex. Let us start to move away from that. But absolutely, that's a real concern. That's a very real concern. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
We see sometimes that media highlight any woman's achievement as greater than man.
Yeah.
Isn't that bring the gender trouble?
Yes, it's patriarchal. It is absolutely patriarchal, and it is patriarchal also in the same way that we are in the habit of, deifying women. I just find it really, it's so terrible the way in which the protests over the Arjikor incident, there are certain things that I'm noticing about the protests that I'm not liking at all. And there are many things about the protests that I'm not liking, but one thing that really struck me was, Amar Durga Bichar Chai. And I'm thinking, no.
And some
No.
people keep writing that মেয়েরা মরে আসবেন না মেরে আসবেন। To whom? ছেলেদের পক্ষে এই কথাটা বলা হচ্ছে। সব ছেলে তো এটার
It is unbelievable. So therefore, I find that the way in which women are deified, so therefore, it's very funny. As I keep saying, patriarchy does something and says the opposite. So I have become quite notorious because I go to every gender sensitization seminar and I said, don't respect women. And everybody is horrified. They're like, so I said, no, please don't respect women. Please don't respect women. Please don't. Because you see, in patriarchy, respect means insult. Please stop respecting women. Be friends with women. You see, because friendship is what men find the most difficult to do when it comes to women. Respect they will. Yeah, and the most common example that I give, bunch of boys sitting together, one guy says, dude, I've got this really dirty joke. And they say, we all love dirty jokes. So they all huddle together to hear this dirty joke. And immediately there's a knock on the door. And, a boy's mother pops her head around the door and says, hey, Tora, and immediately, shh. হ্যাঁ বলুন মাসিমা কি হয়েছে? না আমি জানতে চাইছিলাম যে তোরা চা খাবি কিনা। হ্যাঁ মাসিমা চা খাবো। হ্যাঁ মাসিমা চলে গেছে আচ্ছা এইবারেতে জোকটা বলি। Now if you ask the boy why did you not continue to tell the joke even when Mashima was in the room, the boy would say তা কি করে হয়, আমি মাসিমাকে রেসপেক্ট করি। Now, what respect means in this case is exclusion. So if you're excluding somebody, whatever it may be,